Yo, what is going on, everyone? Thank you for checking out the channel today. Today we are going to be going over the new kind of unexpected rogue deck that has come about in the recent tournaments. It is going to be Roaring Moon paired with Dudunsparce. Now, on paper, this feels like a very weird combination, and I'll be the first to admit it that when I saw this doing well in online tournaments, I thought it was kind of just a fun deck that really had no legs, and then it showed up at EUIC and got top 8. So since then, I've decided to kind of dive deeper into it and kind of figure out what makes this deck tick, and I actually really like this deck a lot. I think the pairing of Dudunsparce and Roaring Moon is actually really interesting. One of the best synergies that Dudunsparce has with Roaring Moon is actually the fact that it makes resolving dark patches incredibly easy, because Dudunsparce has free retreat, and then Dudunsparce has pseudo free retreat because you can actually trigger the ability in the active to shuffle him back into the deck. So this lets you essentially put down only the attackers you need to attack with rather than trying to plan ahead, which is actually really important for trying to build up this vengeance fletching damage, because it means that you can hold on to excess cards in case you may need to discard them later. Now, this list that I have on screen right now is basically the top 8 list from EUIC. The only thing I changed from the initial list was I took out 3 trekking shoes for 3 professors research. In my testing, I was having a lot of time, I was struggling a lot of the time in the early game to get set up, and I really didn't like having Explorer's Guidance be the only draw supporter. And it felt like the deck was really prone to very slow starts, because you only have Nest Ball and Artisan that can grab you like Dudunsparce and Roaring Moons, and then the only thing that can grab Dudunsparce is the 2 Ultra Ball. So it really felt like this deck didn't have a lot of draw power. So I went ahead and added in 3 Professor's Research as ways to discard dark energies, discard extra ancient cards, and just to give us some more kind of, oomph from turn to turn. And I've really liked this change a lot. I can see why the trekking shoes were in there. They kind of do the same thing, but research overall has just felt like the better card. And now, going over the attackers, we do have the Vengeance Fletching Roaring Moon. We should all know what this does by now. This has been gaining a lot of popularity. 2 darks, it does 70 damage plus 10 more for each ancient card we have in the discard. And then we do have Old School Big Roaring Moon EX with 2 attacks, both costing a dark and a colorless. Frenzied Gouging is the first one. It says you basically just instantly KO your opponent's active, and then if your opponent's active is knocked out via this attack, Roaring Moon does 200 damage to itself. Now, this does make us very susceptible to getting return KO'd, but sometimes this is the only way for us to get past like these big, kind of bulky Pokemon. This is what, we would refer to as a wall breaker in like VGC terms. And then the second attack, Calamity Storm, does 100 damage, and you can discard a Stadium in play. If you do, you do 120 more damage. So that's 220 overall, which is great to KO things like Chi and Pow. And then, as mentioned before, we do have the Dudunsparce Runaway Draw. You draw 3 cards, and then you shuffle this Pokemon back into the deck. There's some really cute interactions you can do with this, where you can like put excess dark energies on this to put more cards back into the deck, or to like let you resolve Earthen Vessel and whatnot. It's kind of a cute interaction. It doesn't come up a ton, but it can. And then the only other Pokemon we are playing is Radiant Greninja, because we are playing 9 dark energies with dark patches. So this is just like free draw. And then the supporters we are playing, we are playing the Force Out Vitality. Our main attackers are both ancient Pokemon, so this is just a free accelerate 2 energies in play plus draw 3. Explorer's Guidance is probably the most underwhelming supporter to come out of the new set, in my opinion. On paper, it looks really strong. Ooh, sorry about that. Felt the sneeze coming on, and it went away. So yeah, Explorer's Guidance feels really underwhelming. On the surface, you know, you look at 6 cards, pick 2, discard 4. That's just not really enough, in my opinion. You'd really want to draw more with this rather than see more. Hence why I chose to play the 3 researches too. Sometimes you really just kind of want that hard reset to your hand, and like playing Professor's Research and then resolving a Dudunsparce or 2 is really nice to be able to just draw 10 rather than, you know, seeing 9 and only getting 5 of them kind of thing. And then the only other supporters that we are playing are 1 Boss's Orders and 1 Penny. Penny is really nice because it can let us pick up like a damaged Roaring Moon. It could even let us pick up like Raiding Greninja in case our opponent's trying to boss stall us. And then we can actually even pick up like excess Baby Moons, so that way we can discard them with like Ultra Ball and Vessel to get more damage for our active Baby Moon. And then we are playing 3 Artisan because it grabs everything except for Raiding Greninja and Roaring Moon, EX. It's really good for recycling Dunsparces. And then we are choosing to play the 4 Vessel, 4 Booster Capsule to go along with the 4 Sada, 4 Explorers for like the Ancient Trainer package to help give us more damage for Baby Moon. We are playing 4 Dark Patches because our main attackers are both Dark. And then for consistency, we are playing 4 Nest Ball, 2 Ultra Ball. The 2 Ultra Balls are mainly just in here as extra discard outlets and ways to search for the Dudunsparce. Mainly, you can grab Greninja and the Moons and stuff, but it's mainly in here for the Dudunsparces. And then for 1-ofs, we have 1 Super Rod as recovery, 1 Counter Catcher because we can go behind on prizes, and then 1 Prime Catcher for the A-Spec. It doesn't make sense to play something like Drum of Awakening in here because you're probably only going to have like 2 ancient Pokemon in play at a time, so it would just be a draw 2. And then to round out, we are playing 9 basic Dark Energies. So yeah guys, that is the list we are going to be running with today. Remember, if you do enjoy this kind of content, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me a comment down below what your favorite deck from the top 8 of EUIC was. This one was probably my favorite. It definitely took me by surprise, and I was, you know, actually really happy to see something like this do so well because it was not on my radar when the set came out. And I really like when new innovative rogue decks come out and do well. So guys, I'm going to go ahead and send you over to the gameplay, and I'll see you then. Alrighty guys, it does look like we found our opponent for the day. Hopefully we can get a good game here. I've been struggling to get some good games lately on live. Do I want to go first? No. I found that going second with this deck has been really helpful. Getting to play the supporter turn 1 has really made a huge difference. Okay, so we found Dunsparce. That is our optimal starter, but the rest of our hand is really bad. If we can find an out to another basic, then this hand is alright. Go figure, we let Tina go first. So now if they have Comphase, then they can start flower selecting. This matchup shouldn't be like too bad. Because like we do have Moon for the Tina. And then like we can use the little Moons to go after the 1 prizers. So I'm hoping this will be a decent game. It is looking like the opponent kind of doesn't have the greatest of starts given how slow they're going. So I would not be surprised if the Tina ends up staying in the active. This is brutal, having to use 2 Nest Balls for 2 Comphase. You never want to do that if you can help it, so their hand must not be the greatest. Yeah, that's definitely the vibe I'm getting. Okay, I asked for another basic, but I mean, ideally this is fine because I don't really have the out I didn't have the out to getting rid of the second dark energy. Man, I really dislike live as a client. I feel like I'm constantly getting dead hands. But we will try to make do with it. Our opponent does have the turn 2 Colress. So they're going to, at minimum, be able to get up to 4 in the lost zone if they have to Abyss Seeking. Judging by the fact that they didn't use any switch cards last turn, I would have to imagine that turn 2 Abyss Seeking is not out of the realm of possibilities. Our turn 2 is going to be very lackluster in the sense that we're just going to attach in like Frenzied Gouging on the Tina V. If a Comfey comes up, then we're going to just Calamity Storm and KO it. But our hand has no direction, and this has been my biggest gripe with this deck, is that it just seems to struggle so much in the early game. Wow, our opponent is actually choosing to use the V-Star power. I would not be surprised if this grabs a Jet energy, so that way they can Jet Comfey, then retreat and use another Comfey. The only interesting thing about doing that is it gets the same amount of cards in the lost zone that they would have if they Abyss Seeking'd, but it does take the Giratina out of the active spot. And there's the Jet energy like I thought. This does have the potential to get them more in the lost zone if they find a single switch. There goes the Manaphy. They're definitely not going to need that, so that was a pretty safe discard. Or, you know, selection to throw in the lost zone. They did find a Tina V-Star. So, yeah, that does mean that they're not going to try and Abyss Seeking this turn. So they're going to be at 4. If we KO this Comfey, the next one comes up, they'll be at 5, and then a Chorus will be at 7, and then they can Lost Impact us. I don't know what to do here. Ideally, an Ultra Ball would be really nice. Vessel kind of works, I suppose. This has just been atrocious. I've had to Sada twice for 1 energy each time. Go ahead and grab Greninja. And then we're going to concealed cards. Okay, we got Little Moon. You see, now I wish I had a Sada for next turn. I think I'm just going to go ahead and do this. I do have the Artisan plus the Dudunsparce, but since I've already played my supporter for the turn, there's not really much else I'm going for. I could have dug for the Prime Catcher, but I don't really feel like it's necessary. And I don't want to give them the Artisan yet. So I am just going to go for the Vengeance Fletching. This does turn on Counter Catcher for them. So if they go Flower Selecting, Courses, Experiment, Mirage Gate, plus Counter Catcher, then they can Lost Impact, KO Moon, and then they'll go to 4. I can come up, Frenzied Gouging, go to 3, and then I would have to get rid of both of my Dunsparces, so that way a Sableye couldn't take 3 prizes. Because I'm at 5, they'll go to 4. Take their KO, I'll go to 3, they take the KO, they go to 2, but then I have 1 prizers and they have 1 prizers. Well, my 1 prizers have more HP. This will be 30. So that means they have 90 they can put places. There definitely would be potential for them to set up for a double price turn. With the Shuppet being in the loss zone, I'm not really concerned about the Greninja, because this does look like it's Isaiah Bradner's list, and Bradner famously did not play water energies. He played what the community has now started referring to as dehydrated Tina, because he was missing his water. So our opponent does just Nest Ball for Cramorant. That is 3 Nest Balls that they are down. So it does seem like they're kind of all in on this one Tina. We have to manually attach Retreat to Cram. So that means that this Moon is going to get 2 prizes worth of value, which is really good. Okay, so I am going to go... I'm going to start with the Dudunsparce. Okay. I'm going to Artisan. Grab the Dudunsparce. I maybe shouldn't have done that. Seven, 8. No, it's fine. I think this is probably the last turn where I can afford to bench that. We're just gonna go ahead and use Explorer's Guidance. We're gonna take Sada Dark Patch. I'm only down 1 energy, so let's go ahead. Concealed cards. Get 2 more Dark Patches that are relatively useless. We'll throw this here. So I currently have 30 HP. This would give me 90 HP left. Which, if a Sableye does come down... putting it on either one of the moons didn't really make sense, because if they have like a catcher, then they could just catcher the other one. I could Ultra Ball away like the Penny and the counter catcher, or like the counter catcher, the Artisan, grab the Dudunsparce, draw 3, then Nest Ball another Dudunsparce down. But like I said last turn, there's not really anything I'm like digging for right here. So I'm just gonna take the Knockout with Vengeance Fletching and see what my opponent's answer is going to be. This could get really tricky for them, because they can get up to 6 with this Comfey, 8 with Colress, 9 with like they would have to cycle 2 more Comfeys and have the Retreat to get into a Sableye this turn, which, given how slow that their start has been in the beginning of this game, I would not be surprised if that's something that they could do. They do get rid of a Colress, so they have to have another Colress. They do Artisan for another Comfey. I'm not surprised to see that. They Jet Energy the other Comfey. If they do get up to 10 here, this booster is going to kind of protect us. They can Lost Mine and kill both of the Dudunsparces, which I'm not a fan of. I also do realize that now we are in range for gouging to take 3 prizes here with the Sableye. But we do still have all of our booster capsules. So he's gonna take 2 here, and we need to find a booster capsule. I'm gonna go ahead and Artisan for a Little Moon. We're going to Sada here and here. Okay. We really need to find a booster capsule. So far, no dice. We do have 2 left in the deck. We're going to Ultra Ball away, Artisan, and no, because I want that for Roxanne. I don't think I want to keep the penny potentially. Oh, penny was also something else I should have paid attention to. I could have like pennied this up. Okay, we have one last chance to find it off of this concealed cards. And we found it. Okay. We're going to put the booster capsule here. How many? Down 2 Explorer's Guidance. So I'll get rid of the research. Grab Dark Energy. Now we're gonna go Frenzied Gouging. So we are out of range of any 3 prize turns. However, I don't think that leaves us in the clear, because our opponent is effectively... No, the penny might be what saves us. Because I would have to imagine that the opponent is probably going to KO both the Dudunsparces and like Roxannas. At which point I probably should have played that Dark Patch, like I was thinking about. That's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Lost Mine, both Dudunsparces, and a Roxanne. Because then that takes away all of the draw power that we have to get out of the Roxanne. Although effectively all we need is the penny. There is something. Well, 2, 3. Yeah, no, they should have like 2 psychics left. I was gonna say there was potential that they don't have a psychic, but yeah, I'm pretty sure we just lose, depending on what they go for. Because like if they KO the big moon, then they leave it to where like I can get rid of both of the Dudunsparces and like draw more cards. So this is 100% correct to KO both of these, and then I have to pick up... Oh. Okay. Well, now you can't... Okay, so this is 60. So, okay, so the opponent is telling us to remove both Dudunsparces. I don't really agree with that, if I'm being completely honest. Ultra Ball is in here. So I have Ultra Ball plus 2 Dudunsparces. I think it's Explorer's Guidance first. Yeah, that sounds correct. One, two, three. I should still have a dark left. We're gonna do this. We're gonna Earthen Vessel away the boss. Grab the dark. We're gonna Concealed cards. Okay, so we hit both the Dudunsparces. And now we should be fine. Because there's 60 HP left on this. If they play a vacuum... No, they still can't even do it. Yeah, I think we win. I really don't agree with KOing the Big Moon there. That didn't make any sense. Because the Dudunsparces are the easiest thing for me to get rid of. You know, because I can play any supporter to dig for my Dudunsparces. Whereas if you KO the Dudunsparces, now I have to find Penny to pick up the Big Moon. Otherwise, I just lose the next turn. Which means that you are forcing my hand to play Penny, but then you're also KOing the Dudunsparces, which is drastically limiting my outs to finding the Penny. So, in my opinion, 100% the correct play there was lost mine both of the Dudunsparces. Because now... Okay, now it should be sealed up, I'm pretty sure. I was going to say, I think the only way our opponent could do something would be, like, Countercatcher Greninja, Sableye Psychic, Roxanne, KO, Moon. So put 60 here. And then... How many booster capsules do I have? 2. So those are my last 2. So you would... The out for the opponent here, for those of you who are curious, it would be Countercatcher Greninja, Sableye Psychic, Roxanne to 2, Lost Mine, 60 on this Moon, and then, you know, just the other 30 here on this Moon. And now you are forcing me to find Prime Catcher or Penny off of 2 cards with no Dudunsparces in play. Because I am down all of my Dark Energies and my Super Rod, so I have no way of manually retreating this Greninja. But right now, the only out for them is Countercatcher, but obviously we have the Prime Catcher in the hand, so they're going to Countercatcher the Greninja, and they're going to Lost Mine, and then we're just going to Prime Catcher for game. They also could have Aeried us there, Aeried us. If they hadn't played the chorus, like if they went Countercatcher Greninja Airy, that eliminates the Prime Catcher, so the only out is Penny. But yeah, this just all goes back to them not KOing the 2 Dudunsparces. And like, it sounds like it's a big ask for us to try and find both Dudunsparces, but it's really not when you give me the out of playing all of my supporters. And we were close to whiffing. Like, I believe we didn't find the second Dudunsparce until the Greninja, so it was possible that we could have whiffed there. But yeah, guys, that was Roaring Moon Dudunsparce. You know, we got to see both sides of why this deck, you know, is kind of polarizing. You know, we got to see the kind of slow start, the lackluster, you know, kind of clawing your way out of the trenches in the beginning, and then, you know, towards the end of the game we kind of just had everything. And you know, our opponent did make that small misplay, but I think that's very important to kind of analyze, because, you know, small misplays like that, as you can see, very drastically determine how the game can be played. And you know, that small misplay, I'm pretty sure, cost them the game. So you know, that just goes to show that you guys, you know, should kind of think about what your opponent's outs are to the situations that you're putting them in, and eliminate those outs. Because right there, eliminating the draw power and taking the 2 easy prizes is much better than KOing the Big Moon, because I already had a backup attacker, so I was already going to take the return KO. And by leaving the Dudunsparces in, you gave me the ability to take them off the board by themselves. So it just seemed much more correct to take them out instead of the Big Moon. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. Remember, if you did enjoy this kind of content, to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and then go ahead and leave me that comment down below. And I will see you in tomorrow's video.